Seattle is a cesspool of crime. They legalized drugs, they defunded the police, and now they want to close the youth detention center because locking kids up is, well, you know, racist. I got to talk to you about Seattle. Seattle led the nation in a bunch of things. Number one, decriminalizing all drugs. They thought that was great. Then they defunded the police.
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and you're talking not just marijuana. I'm talking about meth,
Oh, I'm talking about heavy
heroin,
drugs,
cocaine.
heroin.
You can think
meth,
anything. Yeah,
cocaine. Yeah,
the whole nine
it went
yards.
down to the level of like jaywalking. I want you to see what Seattle looks like now. This was a video posted a couple days ago.
We have a homeless crisis, we have an addiction crisis, we have an affordability crisis, we have a workforce crisis. It's like playing whack-a-mole, it feels like right now.
I'm not a political expert, I just know what I see. So the homelessness issue, the open drug use, just people falling apart in public is clearly not working.
There's no question Portland's been through a rough patch. We have experienced an unprecedented number of simultaneous worst case scenario crises around homelessness, around public safety, around livability, around economic recovery.
Crime, I guess, became acceptable.
We are on the absolute wrong track. I mean, we have a crisis on our hands.
3 businesses were hit.
A string of early morning burglaries in Northeast Portland.
City in decline.
Robbed and carjacked at gunpoint.
This is not the city we once knew. Crime is skyrocketing, and the homeless crisis has reached a breaking point.
Addicts sprawled on the sidewalk.
How and why is this happening in our city?
Portland.
To clarify, that's Portland. It was cited by Seattle that the same thing is happening in Seattle. But the reason why Portland cited it is they don't want it to get any worse, because now, after defunding the police and crime being out of control, they are now looking at closing their youth detention center for all arrested minors. In other words, no matter what you do as a minor, you're not going to go to jail because they're going to close their detention facility. Because that's racist to put people in jail because a lot of them are black. By the way, the center just opened in 2020. It cost $250 million to build it.
Wow.
They then decided that having a jail for kids is racist. So here's what the chant is: no locks, no cells. No locks, no cells. I don't know what they're planning to do with criminals who commit violent crimes, murder, rape, burglary, drug dealing, arson. But you know as well as I do, if you lock people up for crime, that means you're a racist, isn't it? By automatic.
Well, I guess so. I mean, especially in today's America, you're a racist for doing it. You ever heard of this movie called The Purge?
Of course.
Now, I've never seen it. Have you ever seen it? No, I've heard about it.
Parts. It's where one day a year you can go out and do whatever you want, and it's legal or something like that.
It's kind of like what we're seeing now. It's like they're trying to make that become reality. Get rid of the cops. Cops can't respond. And it's more than just one day. You just go out and do whatever it is you want. We are becoming a third world nation. And it's not even the focus of the left. The Democrats, they can care less about it. This is their agenda. They don't care about the borders. They don't care about people coming across the border on the streets, living on the streets. They don't care about the crime that's happening on the streets. They don't care about all of the drugs. That's the reason why they did it. Heck, remember, the Biden regime had a crack pipe in a dope kit that they were handing out to people, talking about, well, people need safe needles to shoot up their heroin. Last time I looked, it was illegal. It was against the law to do it, but you had the federal government. And then they try to say, well, there's no crack pipes in these kits. Because, you know, Hunter Biden and the crack pipe and everything. I bet you Hunter Biden got him a couple of those kits. But they were saying that no crack pipes in there. The whole point, Barry, is that you have the federal government sending a subliminal messages telling everybody that doing these hard drugs are okay. When you have the federal government providing the paraphernalia for you to do it, it must be okay. And a lot of these people that's doing the drugs, a lot of the left, they see the government as their God. So they see, oh, God gave us approval to do these hard narcotics. It's right down disgusting.
Let me ask you one more question, then we're going to go for today. According to the committee that wants to close the jails in Seattle, white youth are 87% of the population by color, by race. 13% of the crime are committed by 87%. That means 13% is committing 87% of the crime. And the idea that they have a jail is racist. What do you make of that?
Yeah, you know, a couple years back before the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade and sent it back to the states where now the states get to decide on it, a lot of black people were losing their lives because before that happened. Now it went back to that, and I'm getting to that point. And what was happening, it was 13%. Black people made up 13% of the population in the country. And they were committing, and then the males out of that 13% made up about 6%, maybe 5%. And they were committing 56% of the most violent crimes. 56% of the most violent crimes. Now, the 87% includes those violent crimes, but they also include the other crimes that, you know, that's happening as well. But they were committing most of the crimes in the country. But it's racist to put them in jail. That's the reason why they came up with the cashless bail, because these black people that were committing these crimes, they didn't have the money to bail themselves out. So they had to sit in the jail. So now there comes the racism. It's more black people sitting in jail because they didn't have the money to bail themselves out. Instead of targeting the black community, saying, hey, stop doing this criminal activity, instead of making it facilities and start doing stuff to actually getting black people to lift themselves up to try to do better, instead of putting programs in like that, all they do is turn around and blame white people for their own mishaps. Blame white people for the predicament that they're sitting in right now. 87% of the crime that's happening in the country is actually now for about 16% because the black population start losing their lives. So, you know, that's kind of increased a little bit there. But it's all been because of the Democrats. The Democrats had the policies of putting black people in jail. Remember Joe Biden himself saying that we need to get these predators off the street, along with Hillary Clinton. The drugs, and now they're providing the drugs. They were providing the drugs then to lock black people up, and now they're providing the drugs now, but they don't care who's caught up on the drugs. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter. Now they see everybody in the country as a threat to their establishment, and that's what they're doing. They're killing the country, they're killing all of us, and their goal is to destroy the United States of America before November of this year.
It's going to be an interesting summer, my brother, a very interesting summer.
Another summer of love right around the corner.
Another 6 months of wild reinterpretation of what's really going on.